And we're live. All right. What's up, everybody?
Howdy, howdy.
Yeah.
All right. So let me go around here real quick and introduce everybody. I don't know if it's in my bottom right-hand corner over here. We have Echo's reloading chamber. Welcome, Mr. Echo.
Howdy, gentlemen. How are you doing this evening?
What's it like in Florida?
It's about 82 degrees and the humidity is probably in the 90s.
Jeez.
Lovely.
Yeah, so it's actually right now, my bad. As I look at the bottom of my screen, evidently we got a little wind off the coast and we're at 76 and partly cloudy, so that would mean that our humidity is way up.
Lovely. Beautiful. So you had some rain maybe or no?
No, but it probably will by morning.
It's pouring on us right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It must be coming in off the Gulf there on Texas.
All right, and if you've seen a reloading live stream before, you've probably seen Echo and AR. Over here with the lovely microphone, Mr. AR. And your channel is AR Guns, and what's the AR Guns?
1776. I may drop that eventually.
AR Guns 1776. I have some moderators, so we'll see if they show up here and they can pop some links in for us. All right. And
good.
Also we have Mr. Bending. Bending Ballistics, professional shooter, all around good guy. How are you today?
I'm all right. I'm an all right person. It depends on who you ask. Depends on what day of the week. Like
Fine.
Friday night, I was pretty angry.
Exactly.
And then today I was pretty angry, but it'll be all right. Echo, you said you're in Florida?
Yes, sir.
Where?
I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida. I grew up in Orlando.
You want to know a small world?
Huh.
I grew up in Kissimmee.
Oh, no kidding. What part?
Brack Street.
Oh, okay.
Like right
my
off Main
mom
Street?
worked in St. Cloud for years.
I went to Harmony High School out there.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And then after that, have you been back to Kissimmee or anything?
Yeah, I drive through it every time I go to Orlando.
Do you know where John Young and Osceola Parkway meet?
Sure do.
All right, you know where that toll is? That's right there on.
Yes, I do.
As like it's the last toll right before you get to like the loop or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
So you got that subdivision.
You guys
that's
are
right there.
It's a small world.
On the right-handed side. That's gated.
Oh yeah, as you go around the loop, you can see it.
So you wouldn't go around you would come right out of the booth, and it's that first subdivision right there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's called Stonehurst or Stone Run, or I don't remember. But anyways, I lived on Stonehurst.
Neighborhood. Holy cow!
I lived in Stonehurst in a gated community with a homeowners association. First house I ever bought, and I felt like I bought shit. And then I thought, best thing I ever did.
Yeah, homeowners associations are not fun at all.
The only nice thing that came out of it was they paid for my lawn care and landscaping every year because as part of the HOA, they have to.
It was included, huh?
Mm-hmm. Lawn care, landscaping, all that was included, but it was so minute of the things that you could do outside. I had a piece of plywood. Let me tell you, I had a piece of plywood propped up on the side of my house and got a ticket from the HOA because I had a piece of plywood propped up on the outside of my house as I was building a workbench inside my garage.
Yeah, you can't.
It was only out there like a day.
Can't do
that way.
All right, so let's jump. What was funny was when he said, "What part?" and I was like, "From Texas, Kissimmee is close enough." And then y'all start naming street names. I was like, "Whoa, y'all know exactly where you are."
Oh,
what's
yeah.
Up, Lexi, over in the comments. Good to see you guys here. So, Mr. AR, what did you do today for any guns and ammo?
I didn't do anything. I did yard work.
I did yard work too.
Yeah.
What are you working on?
Y'all need to come do my yard work. I need an HOA.
What are you working on outside?
I was repairing a bicycle that's been left in the rain a long time, oiling it up and just cutting grass.
So so some gardening. You did some grass cutting.
Yeah, just grass cutting. Mm-hmm.
Some people don't know. I'm a Texas master gardener.
Wow.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I big gardening fan. It's not like I'm great at it, but I did go take the classes from Texas A&M to get my they call it a mini horticulture degree.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's really good. That's cool.
I do vegetable gardens. I used to all the time here.
You got any tomatoes and peppers going?
No, my tiller went bad, rings in it, and my dog chewed part of the hard rubber wheel off here last year when he was a pup. Ticked me off. Boy, was I mad.
Oh no.
Yeah.
A whole chunk out of it. Got
So I went to.
He's from our side, occasionally.
One other thing, Echo.
Yes.
I went to OHS before it was a 3-story school. Now it's all 3 stories and 2 stories. I graduated there when it was still 1 story.
Oh yeah. When I graduated Edgewater High School, it was a totally different high school. They bulldozed my whole high school. I don't know if it was possibly a problem, but they bulldozed the whole thing and they built a brand new one right next to it.
Well, like I know we're getting off on a side tangent here, but OHS, they had to build it 3 stories. My graduating class was 2,500, and we outgrew the school with our graduating class. We graduated at Arabian Nights there in Kissimmee off 192.
I know. Yes, my mother insured it. My mother writ the insurance, was the head underwriter for Arabian Nights, wrote the insurance policy on that attraction facility. Yeah.
So I walked the stage for high school. We were the last graduating class to do it because they just got to be too big. We were the last graduating class to walk across that stage at Arabian Nights.
Awesome.
And then,
that's a great name, Arabian Nights.
Yeah,
have you ever been there?
It's awesome.
You got to go.
I've been to Florida like twice.
If you like dinner shows, I'm sure they have them in Dallas somewhere, like in the tourist area by where Six Flags is.
You lost me.
I'm sure there's an Arabian Nights there.
Okay. Picture this. You go into a huge arena style area and you're sitting in chairs that are all elongated with like partial areas for where you could put food and stuff.
Okay.
And then you are fed huge turkey legs and I mean like a couple of pounds of turkey meat on there, and you have to eat it all by hand. You have no silverware, nothing, and you have big ale glasses of ale, and it's really cool. And you watch knights compete on horseback, and you're either with the one knight or the other knight on the other side, the king, one of the king. It's a pretty cool thing, very much like
jousting and all sorts of stuff. And then what's the other one that's right there off the 192?
Medieval Times.
Yeah, there you go.
I think it's like that.
Yeah,
very much just like the same kind of thing. Yes.
We used to go to Medieval Times just to go get dinner.
Yeah.
There was cheap. Can I get a fork? There were no forks in Medieval Times, thus there are no forks at Medieval Times. Would you like a refill on your Pepsi?
Yeah, but they had Pepsi.
They had Mountain Dew. They had Mountain Dew. That's what I was drinking there. Can I get a sweet tea and a bucket of whatever you're bringing in those big buckets? Just keep bringing it.
So we got Tim S, we got John H, we got Mr. Mad Sexy, John H. Let's see who else over here. MCK. What's up, guys?
John's Mad Sexy.
Links. Thank you, John.
And links. Gonna tell Mad Sexy why I want an HOA, because I absolutely disdain mowing and doing landscaping on my yard now.
Well, I can tell you I have an HOA and that does not include landscaping.
Oh, well, mine did in my first house, but no longer.
Yeah.
But they tried doing an HOA here and I actually opposed it because, like, in Kentucky, like HOA in this little town in Kentucky, there's not even an amenity here that they could offer. So,
right. They just want to
like,
put a pool in and then charge you $400 a year for it.
Well, everybody in my neighborhood, we all have pools. So, how are you going to put in a pool?
Draw for you guys.
Yeah. And my neighbor across the street, she has goats. So, and we're in the city limits.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Well, my field behind me, my neighbor behind me, behind the field, he cuts the hay off my field. So.
You got goats, AR? Oh, you're muted. Did I mute you?
No, I did. Yeah, we got goats, neighbors. I'm in a rural farm area, a lot of it anyway. And so there's goats out there too, cows, horses.
Some of them fainting goats. So, Echo, did you do any shooting or reloading this week?
No, actually, before I say no, I did some reloading, but I did not do any shooting. I did reload some 308, and I'm thinking about starting a project on 9mm, but I don't know yet. It all depends on if AR can talk me into ordering us both some 9mm brass.
Oh, they don't know what I have behind me.
What do you have behind you? I don't know what you have behind you either.
About 12,000 pieces of 9mm brass.
Look at that.
That's already primed. It's primed. I've got projectiles and everything.
Once fired?
No, brand new brass.
Wow.
Oh,
did you say how much?
About 12,000.
12,000 pieces.
That's primed and projectiles.
Oh, it's ready to go.
So, food for thought. Eagle and I, we were talking about this. Was it 2 weeks ago when I bought out that old ammo company that was here local that quit manufacturing ammo? Or maybe it was you, AR. I don't remember. I was talking to one of you about it. I bought out a local ammo company here. The guy was getting out of it, and he ran Dillon presses on the auto drive system.
Oh, nice.
And so when he got out of it, he had tons and tons of like bad QC, 9mm, 5.56, 300 blackout, 450 Bush, 308, so on and so forth. And so I've broken it all down and recharged every bit of it, and been mint.
Nice. That's a good find.
Yeah.
Looks like Michael's got he's got 1,500 rounds ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got to have 9mm ready to go.
Whenever people start putting numbers on like supplies, nothing against what anyone said here. I'm just thinking like on the news when they're like, local guy found with 3 ARs and 3,000 rounds of 5.56.
I hate the way the media does that.
I know, it's so funny because it's like, oh, he had a nice little collection. Good job, buddy.
It's only a summer for me.
You must have just started into guns.
Yeah, I just started.
We got a newbie over here.
That's what I would have said. I'd have been like, oh, if wife must really have him by the purse strings. and he's just getting started, poor guy. And he just got started. And now they just advertised for him to be robbed.
You get the, oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, bless your heart.
Early days of YouTube, there's a guy on here Reloaded. I can't even remember the channel now. Somebody else on here may know. He said he had close to 3/4, almost 1 million rounds of loaded ammo he loaded. He had all the auto drives and everything too.
Oh yeah, you know what?
I don't remember his name though.
Bending. When you were saying a guy was sold out of some Dillon stuff and you bought him out, it sounds like a guy that I know just sold all of his Dillon auto drive machines and quit doing reloading for like all the local shops. And he was doing it for 35 years. And
this guy, I can tell you the name of the company and you can tell me if it's the right. Let me look. Hold on. I've got a box of it right here.
I know something we can mention. Dylan has a new auto drive that's a little bit more affordable.
I saw that.
And
In his name, ammo.
What is it called?
What's it called?
In his name, ammo.
Hmm.
It was based out of I want to say not Cleveland, Tennessee is what I want to say.
Ah, okay. Not
Which
the
is only
same business, but
2 or 3 hours from me.
right.
It was him, his wife, and his kids, and everything. He was retired, and they just went in there and loaded for shops. Like he shipped nationwide, but
And he just couldn't get components and got tired of trying to find it.
Like I bought tons of powder off of him, projectiles. Like I literally bought this man out of when he said he was done. I wrote him a check and went on about my business.
That's awesome.
Does that make sense? I bought him out of everything he had.
How you doing, Michael? Good to see you.
Is it good for werewolves? I've got some silver bullets.
Silver bullets, silver tips for Winchester.
You can always drill out the hollow point and put what is it, mercury in there and cover it.
Tula silver coated 5.56 ammo.
Yeah, silver coated.
The bullet don't kill you. The silver will. Mercury.
The silver will, yeah. With the price, that would be like, I'm not shooting my silver. I'd be the guy dying from the werewolf because I was too cheap to shoot the silver bullet. I'd been like, no.
See, what never made sense to me, and another unknown fact about me, I'm very much addicted to Shark Tank and Pawn Stars.
You told me that one day.
I'm addicted to both of those. On sometime.
And I never thought about this until Chum Lee said it a few episodes ago. How come you can kill a werewolf with a stake, but it takes a silver bullet?
Okay.
I don't know anything about werewolves. I'm sorry.
I mean, just food for thought.
It's the myth.
Yeah, I'm very much addicted to Shark Tank. Very much addicted to it. So.
What was there? Got a question over here.
What we got?
Mad Sexy's got one.
Mr. Bending Ballistic. What's the average lifespan of a 5.56 AR buffer spring?
You should never have to really change your buffer spring as long as you're taking care of it, you're keeping it clean and not rusted. I mean, I'm running the same carbine buffer spring in my 3-gun rifle that's got 100,000 rounds on it, 12 barrels through it. So it's the same buffer spring. So as long as you keep it maintained, I mean, everything takes maintenance. I mean, it's the same with a little 380. The reason why it wasn't functioning is maintenance issues. And
you grease your buffer springs? What are you doing?
I don't.
This is going to sound really ostentatious, but
you got the Hornady one shot.
Best thing for friction. Best thing for friction. It's a soluble base. It's a lacquer based, so water doesn't affect it. We run whether it's raining or shining. So,
right.
If it works, it works. And I'm very hard on my stuff. So
here's a good point from your buddy John. You can measure it to see if that spring is still in spec.
I've heard of that.
Which is true, but I don't know what the measurement is.
Should be 21 inches stretched.
21 inches as it sets?
Yeah. Like if you take it out of the buffer, it should measure 21 inches.
Little arrow shell. I am guilty of occasionally greasing my springs, especially if they make that annoying twang sound. And then if they keep making that twang sound, I replace them.
But I mean, we could go on a little bit of a tangent real quick about like buffer springs and stuff like that and tuning a system. So
flat wire.
Yes,
that's good.
flat wire.
flat wire is the way to go. Like I run
Yeah.
flat wire and everything.
David Tubbs, do yourself a
He
favor.
makes some good stuff.
Buy a David Tubbs flat wire spring for your AR-15. It will
I run
quiet
his-
any noise down.
I run his 300 blackout spring in
Yes.
a 16-inch 300 blackout I've got.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go off on a little bit of tangent, and this is nothing against anybody, so nobody take this personal. But it kills me with being a master armor at the level that I am and cutting barrels and things like that, tuning rifle systems for people. When somebody orders a tunable gas key on their bolt carrier, they get a tunable gas block, then they get a tunable buffer spring, and they're like, tune it, and then you tune it, and they're like, oh, well, now it doesn't feed reliably with my suppressor. It's overcharged with my suppressor. Well, you never threw out the caveat that you're going to run a suppressor, because then you're going to tune it completely different. And then they try to tune it, and then they get it all out of spec, and then they tighten everything down and say, well, I'm just going to run it how it is and have a tunable system that I never even bothered to tune. And as a master armor, that kills me, because it's such minute things to tune a system to dispense brass properly and feed properly and so on and so forth. And I say that, but I've been fighting with the Grendel for forever, getting it tuned exactly how I want it. And I hate it because 6.5 trying to tune is awful.
Yeah, but it tends to short stroke.
And then once it doesn't short stroke, it overgasses.
Yeah. It starts throwing at like 230.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite gas block for these tuning situations? I've only ever used the superlative arm ones.
Superlative.
Is it
superlative? Is super
superlative? I thought it was superlative.
Oh, I don't know. I call it superlative.
Superlative. I think it's superlative. But yeah, that's the only one I've ever used.
Now that vents to the gas outside the gas block, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's the one you want.
It's like $75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Odin Works. Arrow Precision makes a pretty decent one.
Do you think Arrow actually makes that piece, or is it one that they're
superlative?
Odin. I think the Odin and the Arrow is the
superlative.
Superlative.
That's who makes it for Arrow. Arrow makes, or Superlative makes the gas box for Arrow, Anderson, not Palmetto anymore, Bear Creek Arsenal, BCM, Spikes Tactical, American Tactical, and there was one other one.
I like their V6 muzzle brake. Their muzzle brakes are pretty good at Arrow Precision.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of V6 muzzle brakes actually right behind me.
Are those made by it's hard to tell what Arrow actually makes, because like they are a manufacturer, but they don't make everything in their catalog.
So Arrow makes
uppers, lowers.
So Arrow and Ballistics Advantage are the same company, just so everybody is aware.
Yeah. They bought them for their barrels, I think.
So no,
they
one
were
of the guys.
They were a separate company. I know. Clint,
and now they did a merger.
They merged, but they didn't. They
didn't pull the merger.
Arrow Precision does not own 100% of Ballistic Advantage. Ballistic Advantage, their retail office is right down the street from my house where I grew up, and their factory is in Lockhart, just a little bit around the corner from where I grew up. And I've been there a couple times and worked on a project with Clint. What's his name? Clint Hansen.
Yeah.
That's why they have that Hansen barrel. You helped me a lot with that Echo when I was having trouble, and I sent mine back. And I think you helped me get my barrel back a little bit quicker.
I called them and said, hey, can you speed up the return on that? And the problem was they didn't have a replacement barrel. Right. They were waiting on barrels.
And they're supposed to come out with they're supposed to have a 16-inch 6.5 Creedmoor barrel coming out, but it's them and Faxon, neither one of them can have it. I know you keep saying that, but I have to do a shorty.
Stay with the same company on an AR10. Do not go.
Why do you want a
parts.
6.5 with a 16? That gun with an 18 or 20 stays 1,000 feet per or supersonic at 1,000 yards.
Because pigs.
Oh, okay. Never mind. You
A
just need to
6.5
step
Grendel.
up. Dude,
I have a
listen,
20-inch Creedmoor.
458 SOCOM. What are you doing?
Dude, you've been trying to get me to do 458 SOCOM, but it's a new caliber, and I can't do new calibers.
Yes,
I
you
love
can.
my 458, dude.
It's a set of $33 dies. It's a bunch of brass, some Magnum handgun primers.
More guns.
But see, that's a different primer that I stock. I don't stock that primer for anything else. So it'd be a whole new system all the way around.
Oh my gosh.
It'd be a different. I'm a systems guy.
I understand you're a systems guy, but what you got to understand is when you hit a big deer or a big pig with a 325 piece of lead,
Ooh.
it knocks. I mean, you can hear it. You're like, ow, that sound like it hurt. And people are like laughing because you're like, dang, that sound bad. When you fire and it's about 100 yards away and you hear that bullet impact, you're just like, slap. Oh man, it sounds like somebody hitting a golf ball.
I want the Grendel.
I snapped a T-post in half with the 350 grain full metal jacket on AR500 steel at 100 yards with my 458 SOCOM. It is a hammer.
So when I branch out,
and it runs a standard buffer weight.
So like I'm going through, like, in the reloading part of this, I'm going through my calibers, and admittedly I have not done much reloading in 2022 because my company is insane right now. But and Michael Dunn, we're going to get to your question here in just a second about an AR10 because I have a couple things for you on that as well. But the when I go, so I'm through 9mm. I have a load that I love. I can make it like from memory. I've made it so many times. I've several thousand rounds through it. I've got several thousand rounds in a can as a buffer to shoot through my supply, and so. I'm ready to move on. I've been talking to all you guys about 6.5 Creedmoor. I'm going to get to it eventually. I just haven't been able to. Then it's possible that based on my channel feedback, it looks as if my viewers want me to build a 6.5 Grendel. And so I'm going to be working on that. But that's a whole new caliber. But thankfully, it uses the powder and the primers that I already own for my other calibers. So I have some redundancy. I'm a big fan of redundancy. I was even talking with Bending Ballistics about what is a possible 6.5 bullet, projectile bullet that I could possibly have some crossover between Creedmoor and Grendel. It doesn't look like that's going to be super fruitful, but it's possible that like a 123 can work in both of them. So
you can do a subsonic 140, or subsonic 140.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing with that. I'll probably never shoot suppressed. I'm not a suppressor fan.
There's some stuff for 133 grains or 135 grains. And
but it's sub.
Is it sub at that weight?
Yeah.
Well, it would be out of a 16.
The 6.5 Grendel is it's got a 30-degree shoulder bump, so it makes it super efficient. But the case capacity of it on mine
is weak.
Is only 28 grams of water is what mine takes at case capacity. So the phenomenal powder that you're going to be able to get, and just like anything else, when you start going with a heavier projectile, you create pressure in the chamber and so on and so forth. So in order to stay underneath that 55,000 PSI pressure that you have to stay at with semi-auto where it blows the upper receiver apart, it would force it to a very anemic speed. Maybe not exactly subsonic, but it would be pretty close to subsonic. It might be very minimal over in the super, but I believe it would be very phenomenal speeds, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. You're looking at basically a 7.62 by 39 weight bullet, like a 123, somewhere around in that range.
That's going to
For
be your
a
ideal
yeah,
node. I mean, especially if you're hunting nodes and looking for extreme terminal energy and maximum expansion. I mean, there's a reason why when the military went with the 6.5 Grendel, they experimented from a 55 grain 6.5 projectile all the way up to a 123 and stuck with the 123 for a DMR 600 yards and in rifle on the 6.5 Grendel when they were over in Desert Storm times, because it's so flat shooting in a dry environment, much like how Texas is. Yeah, you have humidity, but generally in the areas where you're going to be pig hunting, because pigs love a dry air where they can snarl their nose and get the dust all up in there and cool off.
All up in there.
They're going to want that dry air underneath. They're not going to want a bunch of water in their nose. They'll take a mud bath, but.
All right, let's go around the panel here and see if we can help Michael Dunn out. Let's start with Mr. AR. What do you have for him on 308 and the AR10?
I'm sure he's talking about DPMS style. Stick with the same manufacturer when you're building that, because there's not a standard exactly like there is for the AR-15, so it can get
a little
trouble.
Tricky to navigate, admittedly.
Yep. So
you'll end up with
don't buy a bunch of different part manufacturers. Just go ahead and do Arrow or whoever you like, and
so you're saying get an upper, a lower, and a handguard from the same guy.
The handguard, you know, it's up to you, but the upper and lower definitely, and the trigger.
And if you are getting a handguard, make sure you're getting the right height for your upper receiver, because there's a DPMS low and then there's a DPMS high, and the DPMS high is same as the like the MAW 10 from what was it? Now they're a different company, but it used to be out there in Washington State. No, not Bushmaster. Mega Arms.
Oh yeah,
Mega Arms used to make a MAW 10, and they use the taller of the two, which is basically the same as the AR10 height, the original profile. And then when DPMS came out with the LR308, they lowered the overall height of the rail, which
to avoid all that though, like if you go with Arrow, you don't have to worry about all their handguards work with it. So that'll help you.
Yeah. I found pay special note to because the barrels, he asked about barrels here as well. Now I can't, I'll let you guys answer 308 barrel length, but I'll say that check with that barrel manufacturer and make sure that you've got your journals are correct for your gas blocks, because there's a bunch of different sizes that are a little different than AR-15. And then the other part of that is all your fire control is the same. I'm getting an echo here. Not echo. Anyone else hearing an echo?
No, but you muted me a second ago.
Okay. So
I heard a little something.
Fire control is all the same.
Yep.
But you got to watch out for a couple of things with the heights of the receiver to the handguard, and then I ordered the wrong size gas block because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah. So as far as barrel manufacturers are concerned, I'm sure we all have our favorites, but for 308 performance, what is your favorite length?
Depends on what you want to do with it.
That's always a good question to start with. I think that gets overlooked. Yeah, because what do you want it to do? Because there's a bunch of different things, you can do with 308. You can go long range, you can go short range, you can do all sorts.
Yeah, I would ask the person what they intend to do with the rifle. If you're going to be punching holes in paper at 600 yards, I would tell you buy a Krager, like maybe a 24-inch barrel, and get a 1 in 10 twist rate. And, you know, if you're shooting the 308 Winchester, that's what I'm real familiar with. I load for 6.5, need more, but I'm just not a real big for shooting holes in paper. The 6.5 Creedmoor is a decent cartridge. I just think for harvesting animals and stuff like that, you need a little bit more than the 6.5 has to offer in that particular setup.
That's debatable.
Yeah, but I mean, most bullets that are made for them are very thin jacketed, and unless you're using like a Barnes, you're not really getting into bullets that are. I've seen too many bullets hit good hits on deer broadside and getting variable penetration from anywhere from 6 to 12 inches to pass through. So I'm just like, why am I getting 6 inches on a shoulder in a 145-pound deer, and at another 145, 150-pound deer hit a shoulder and not even make it into the heart chamber? So I'm just, I've just come into that, and I've heard a couple other guys that are hunters talking about it. So I'm not the only one that's kind of like scratching their head going, I'm not sure.
So my 153s that I load strictly for hunting, they're hammers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've dropped deer.
Are they bonded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good.
I either run Barnes TCX or I run the Varmageddon Barnes. Not Varmageddon, but they have the TCX, then they have another Barnes that they make. Not the match burners. Anyways, they make another one. It's because the TCX has the green tip and this one has like the orange tip. And I can't see inside my door. I mean, I can see inside my door on my ammo locker, but I can't physically read it. I'm blind in one eye. So
I agree with you, ballistics. 270 with lightweight bullets has been dropping deer and elk and mule. I mean,
and that's
moose out west before I was born.
And that's the thing with the, like, I'll talk crap a little bit on the 6.5 Needmore because I do have a lot of time with the Needmore. I mean, I shoot it competitively. I have a lot of time with it. It does fall apart at a certain distance with the 153s, and I won't argue with anybody about it. Like, by no stretch of the imagination would I try to take an animal besides a coyote out past 400 yards with 153s. Now, a coyote, if it crawls off and dies very slowly and meaninglessly, that's okay, but I'm not going to do it to something that is like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Good question. I kind of answered it. Be careful going different brands. You'll run you in trouble.
Yeah. If you're going to be doing different brands, and what you need to do is do yourself a favor and contact someone that builds these rifles like I used to for a shop that works with certain manufacturers of parts and knows what works together and what does not, because you can get yourself into spending quite a bit of money and find out that none of your stuff is working together, and that is a very horrible feeling. So make sure that if you're not buying all one manufacturer, make sure you talk to someone that's built the rifles and it's got a little bit of a history that is positive and that you can get some information from.
I once had a young gunsmith relayed to someone else. I won't go into who it was. Tell me, tell him to be careful with those 308s. I built one and it was a wreck. And I says, no, it's no problem. All you got to do is stick with the same manufacturer. So I said, it's not complex. Yeah.
Well, it's not. So I'll go off into a little bit of a rabbit hole on that. It's not necessarily the same manufacturer as it is your barrel extension. Because I physically cut all my barrels myself, besides my cold hammer forge stuff that I have. Everything else I physically cut myself. And I use the same barrel extension and a reamer for just a standard bolt action 308 to cut my chamber. And it's the barrel extension in which the way it forces the feed ramps on your barrel into alignment. So that's kind of where I'm going to differ a little bit on that opinion, if that makes sense. Because you could essentially take a 308 barrel blank that the chamber has been cut in essence, and make it work if you know what you're doing. I'm not going to say it's as simple as unscrewing your barrel extension and screwing it on a bolt action barrel, because it's not that simple. But in the short term, if you know what you're doing, it's not awful to do, if that makes sense.
Most people don't have your level of experience, though.
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, it's a lot easier, if that makes sense.
Michael Dunn says maybe it's easier to just buy a complete rifle. So hardcore DIY guy here. DIY everything, even if it sucks, I DIY. And if I'm building an AR-15, I would build it over buy it every time. In fact, I've never purchased an AR-15. All of mine I built. And I feel the connection of like complete understanding about how it operates because I put it all together, and I like that. But if it doesn't do something, I know why immediately. Now, AR-10, I would maybe say that I would open the possibility of purchasing an AR-10 instead of building one, just because there's a couple pitfalls. And, confusion says no. And so if you're confused and you're saying no, buy one and modify,
And not only that, let me say this: you can go to Aero Precision. They got the uppers for like $500-600 on sale.
Right.
308. So I mean,
you could buy an upper and a lower and just snap it together.
Yeah, snap it together. And maybe build your lower and then snap the upper if you want.
So to answer John's question that you just put on there, I think there's a tax cost saved. No, there's not, because your lower is a firearm and the lower is taxed at 16%. No matter if you buy a strip lower, you buy a completed lower. No matter what, the lower is the firearm. That's what the ATF has deemed as that said firearm. And in the state of Kentucky, it's a 16% tax. It might be different where you guys are, Georgia, Florida, Texas.
It's different.
But Kentucky, it's 16% no matter what on firearms, completed or pieces.
I machine all my own lowers, so I'm not buying.
Biden hates that. I'm gonna have to say something political there now.
You ghost gun guru.
But and to kind of I guess rabbit hole tangent a little bit back on what Michael was saying about it's always easier to buy than build on the AR-10. It depends on what features you want. Like if you're wanting ARCA, then not necessarily is it going to be easier to buy it, because then you're stuck back in the same tangent of now I've got to find an ARCA rail that's compatible with my rail, and there's only so many companies that make ARCA stuff. You have Gray Ops CNC that makes it, Area 419, and Sergeant of Arms. And Sergeant of Arms is the only one that makes a handguard that has ARCA integrated with it. But the issue comes into is you have DPMS high shelf, you have DPMS low shelf, you have Colt, and then you have the AR Stoner AR10 pattern. And that's where you run into, but now AR Stoner is only doing upper and lower shelf. They're not doing of the Colt stuff. Hey, Vanessa. So if you're going to go, like Aero Precision is low shelf. Like 90% sure Aero Precision is low shelf. Don't hold me to that.
Low shelf. You didn't know they use better dyes to build their product than other companies?
No. He's not talking about that. He's talking about the height of the rail.
Oh, okay.
The
Oh,
rail
gotcha.
height.
No,
Okay.
I'm not talking about machining or anything like that. I'm not discussing that. I'm discussing the upper rails and things, but I believe they're low shelf. I'm not talking build quality or anything like that. I'm talking strictly.
Gotcha.
And then you have Daniel Defense that runs on the, I want to say the Colt pattern is what they, don't hold me to it. I'm not 100%. Somebody in the comments might know and tell me that you're an idiot. But I believe they run on the Colt pattern. Don't hold me. Think.
Good question.
Or maybe they run the DPMS low shelf. I mean, I could literally text the rep from Daniel Defense because I know he's up. He's driving home from Bama Lama.
Big shout out to the one and only Vanessa Kitty.
What's up, Vanessa? How you doing?
It's fun. It's funny. Thanks for stopping by. When I first got into reloading, I was listening to all the podcasts that are out on the topic, and she was always on there. And then she popped on one time to one of our streams, and she's here today. And I was like, "Holy cow, man! These names popping up. You're like famous in my mind."
I know she's on every channel that I go to too.
Has anybody met her? She must be amazing.
Vanessa is known to just about everybody in the gun community.
Love it.
I talk
She
Arrow
was
because
my
I love Arrow.
135th subscriber. She was my 135th subscriber, and now I'm up to 251. I've got to release a 250 sub giveaway challenge.
So, hey, I have another question for the panel here. While we're talking about calibers, I'm going to skip to question number 3 for you guys, because we've kind of already talked about this a little bit. She's her own meme. Oh, she's a teacher. Even better.
In Connecticut?
That's awesome.
I'm going to Connecticut here pretty soon.
Okay, so question for the panel. We'll start with Mr. AR here. What is a caliber that you're interested in that maybe you aren't into yet, but you're trying to get into? And we'll kind of go around here and let you guys talk about your caliber you're interested in, or maybe something that you've already got you want to do better.
I have 2.
All right, let's hear it.
I want to get into the 6.5 Grendel for deer and an AR platform.
Yeah.
And then I want to get into the, of course, the 308 I already got. So I'm going to get I want a AR10, but I do want a 6.5 Creedmoor.
So you're jumping on the 6.5 bandwagon here. I love it.
Yeah, in the future. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, if you need any help with that Grendel, call me, because everything that you'll experience with it, I've been there, done that, and can wear the T-shirt for it.
Yeah,
So,
I heard they got different generations of parts. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Those. Yeah.
Go with the .960 gas block, super heavy contour barrel, because the .960 gas block, they cut the gas key actually larger than what they would on a standard AR-15 gas block. And
no, I want it light enough to carry around for deer now. I want it where I can just move it. So I don't want it.
It will.
for
Mine
me.
only
The
weighs.
gas hole in the barrel is larger. Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
What size?
I
That'll tell me a bit more.
want to say it was 0.42 millimeters.
I don't even think I have a way to measure that.
Yeah, you do.
You don't have micrometers?
No, I mean gas block. What gas block size?
Oh, 960.
960.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
big.
he's
That's a big
almost
barrel.
It's not full size, but it's close.
Yeah, I want a lighter barrel for it, a little bit lighter to carry.
Yeah,
All right,
but if
your
you're,
ballistics, what caliber are you into right now? What do you want to branch out into?
a lot of people are going to laugh about this, but 243 Ackley improved.
Oh,
That's funny. He should even say something like that.
See, my point exactly. Everybody talks shit about the 243 anyways. And you know what? I have
243's
never
got
shot.
a lot of power for what it is. It is a terrific deer hunting rifle for
I have
first
never
time
shot a
shooters.
243.
You've never shot a 243? Oh, they're barrel burners, but they shoot really well. I mean, if they're light recoil, they'll put down a 135-pound animal very easily, and you can probably even hunt a full size buck with it long as your shot placement's good. But yeah, the 243, I like that choice. That was a good choice. I like it.
Is that an AR10 or AR15 plat? Is that long or short?
It's a 308.
It's long.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not technically long.
It's a short action, but it would be a cartridge that would fit the large platform AR.
And then my next thing that I'm trying to get running in gas, because it's never been done in gas, and I'm going to make it work, and it has a 40-degree shoulder bump. Anybody getting close to what it is? It's a 6mm. It's got a 40-degree shoulder bump, measured after the 6BR Norma and the 6BR Alpha.
6 arc, right?
6 Dasher.
Oh, 6 Dasher. Okay.
Oh, Dasher. It's because of the 40-degree shoulder bump. The arc has a 30.
Okay.
Yeah, that 40-degree shoulder bump on the 6 Dasher, getting it to run reliably, because I'm running into the same issues that they ran into initially when they first did the 6 Dasher. Of it doesn't feed reliably in AICS mags until you change out the follower. Well, it's the projectile or the complete loaded case is too short for 308 mags, but it's too long for for AR-15 mags, which forces it to the AR-10 platform. So I'm going to have to 3D print a follower is what I'm going to have to do next. 3D print a follower to shove in an AR-10 that forces the round at an angle to jump that feed ramp. But doing it in gas, there's a lot of energy coming back of a bolt carrier group forward and backwards. So there's quite a bit of energy there.
Oh, yeah, you got 40 feet per second. Now, here's another idea for you. Aero Precision, they put M4 feed ramps on their barrels and on their upper AR-10 receivers. So
I run an Aero for my gas PRS rifle.
Like an M4 or M5E1, whatever they are.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
Did a gas link or rifle link gas system, rifle link buffer tube, rifle link tunable everything. Vanessa wants a 50 BMG. You know they make a kit for that for the AR-15. Just so you're aware, it's bolt action.
Put it on lower.
AR-15 lower. Looks an awful lot.
All right, Echo. What's your caliber you're jumping with, and then I'll tell you all mine.
I'm thinking about building a custom bolt gun in 270 Weatherby Magnum, because when he was talking about the 243, they've got the new 6.8 Western.
Yeah.
Well, the 270 smokes the 6.8 Western and smokes just about any 6.8 cartridge. And the 270 Weatherby Magnum was a modified cartridge from the 270 the regular 270 cartridge, and it's like a 270 on steroids. You handle a heavier bullet and puts out a bullet going, I believe it's 3,300 feet per second.
Huh?
What are you gonna do with that rifle, Echo?
I'm just gonna shoot it.
I've got
dies. I got the dies for free. I got Weatherby dies for free. So I figured I might as well pick up the rifle.
You like messing with wild cartridges too, don't you, Echo?
Yeah.
Have you looked into the 20 tactical yet?
20 tactical.
Or 20 tac? Either 20 tactical or 20 tac.
Is that the barrel that
223 neck down to a 20 cal?
Oh, wow! I don't know that
It's
I've
a
heard of that.
Wildcat. It's a Wildcat. It's running 4,000 feet per second
Holy cow!
with a 20 cal projectile, and it's not a barrel burner because the projectile, the heaviest that you can go is 45 grains. Takes very minimalistic powder to shove it down the barrel. You run it in a gas gun, and you can actually outrun that. If somebody had a giggle switch, it will outrun 223.
Yeah.
Without heating up the barrel nearly what 223 does.
Yeah. Because they're pushing 223 to the when they went from 222. What was it called? 222. Was it Dasher?
No, so you had 222 Russian, you had 222
Blitzer,
Psalm.
Or some, but there was another one though they were going to use for the AR-15, and then they said,
Nosler? 22 Nosler?
I can't remember, but it was
220 Swift.
It was a 222
204
Swift.
Ruger.
It might have been it wasn't 204 because that's a new cartridge. It was 222 Swift, I think, is what it was, and it didn't have enough knockdown at a few hundred yards to penetrate a steel pot helmet, so they went to the 223, and so-called the 223 Remington was born, and but basically I want to see that would be nice, a 20 caliber that would fire at 4,000 feet per second. That would be unbelievable.
And it's not a barrel burner like what you would expect it to be. So I'm very close to Mid-South Shooter Supply. I mean, very close, like shockingly close how close I am. And I'm very good friends with the guys inside Mid-South Shooter Supply. One of my very good friends over there is building a 20 tac right now that we are dabbling in and helping each other with for when I build my 20 tac. Whenever issues we run in with his, we're going to do the exact opposite to try to mitigate said issues. He got me into the Valkyrie before it fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
He got me into the Grendel before it fell off. 204s and stuff like that. But I keep playing with the idea of the 243 Ackley improved because, for one, I've never shot 243. And I don't own anything Ackley improved. And everybody else is doing the 6GT now, and I'm kind of don't want to follow everybody else.
All right, well, let me tell you mine. 8.6 blackout. I'm trying to be an early adopter to this. It's not out yet. You can't get dies for it. But I love a lot of things about it. And going back to what AR said, what do I want the gun to do? And I would like, this is going to be my 458 SOCOM equivalency because I really just want to shoot pigs with it. And it will facilitate my desire to have short barrels. You can do any barrel length that you want. They have 12s, 14s, 16s for this thing. It's a 1-in-3 twist, and I'm super jazzed about it. There's going to be facts and barrels for it coming out soon. I'm on the list for those guys. I'd like to get it and reload for it, and maybe be some of the first ones on YouTube with it. It's kind of my plan.
My big fear
coming up with a guy from Gorilla Ammunitions. I'm going to have him on and do an interview with him. They're making the ammo. This is a Q. Have you guys heard of Q? Kevin, I think's his name with Q.
Yes.
He's the one who's kind of leading the leading the parade on this thing, and it does a lot of really cool things. Number one, short barrels, cool, crazy energy, which is cool. And then the other thing is so energy, barrel length, and then if I can reload for it, great. So anyway, 8.6 blackout is going to be my new, hoping this summer for that.
My big problem with that twist rate is you're taking a 338 projectile that is designed to go in a 1 in 12 twist rate, super anemic twist rates, and you're going to speed it up to 1 in 3. I'm very much afraid, and take this for what it is. You can take it with a grain of salt, but I've shot a lot of 338 Lapuas in my life and a lot of 338 Winchester Magnums.
Right.
And I can tell you, you speed up that twist rate too much, like I did on the 338 Lapua, it will blow apart at the muzzle.
So I'm hoping I'm not a part of the testing phase of this project. I'm hoping that it's a little bit sussed out before I get my hands on it.
Like, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news with it, but
I agree.
I've cut barrels for a 338 that should not have been as fast as they were, and did some. It's a wonder nobody ever got hurt, because when it got to the muzzle brake and ripped apart, it ripped the muzzle brake off and sheared threads.
Sheared right off the end of it. Yeah.
And it's a wonder.
You will see it on YouTube if it happens. My camera will be rolling.
Hey, dude, I'm very close to Scott over here, and I saw what happened to him when that 50 cal blew up.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm just.
That was. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like.
So there's a couple of other.
They tried it with the. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say there's a couple of calibers that already exist that are kind of in this same category, that are even spun pretty hard, but they're both bolt guns only, and I am not a bolt gun guy. I'd like to do that, but that's like 10 projects down the road for me. Which
this one's very close.
I'll be there in like 10 years, but what is that?
Same thing that. You don't know what that is?
I don't know. I can't know.
Can't see it.
Oh, that's a 300 blackout.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy.
I can almost bet you. How much? Can we make a bet here live on what the powder charge is going to be for that 8.6 blackout? What powder it's going to be?
It's going to be 1.5 pounds of powder.
No. So, because I know a little more history on it than a lot of people read into this industry, same person that's making that said round,
it's a 300
developed a certain powder with CFE and Hodgdon
black,
CFE black, or it's going to be benchmark. One of the two. And I say the powder charge is going to be 23 grains of powder on the high end.
It's a big case.
Yeah, but CFE black is nasty.
So the 375 Raptor and the 338 Fed are kind of in the same category, but neither one of them, they've figured out how to run through gas guns that well. So
it's because of the head jump or the neck space on them. It's a 38-degree shoulder bump on both of them. It's the same reason why they have issues feeding in some ELR custom rifles. The shoulder bump is crazy on them.
Yeah. So that's the one that I'm interested in. So it looks like I'll be doing Grendel with you guys though as well. So
well, if anybody needs help with the Grendel, I have a lot of time with the Grendel, and I mean a serious amount of time with the Grendel. I have been so mad with the Grendel that I had to put it up because I love the Grendel. Don't get me wrong. It is a super, super accurate round. I've split shotgun shells at 200 yards with it. It's a laser beam, but getting it to that level is a little rough. I won't lie to any of you and tell you that it's the easiest thing to tune, because it's not. Anybody that has time with a 6.5 projectile or a 6mm projectile with a tunable gas system understands what I'm saying about how big of a pain in the neck the 6.5 and the 6mm are to tune. However, it's hard, but it's possible. And we need to chat about the thing you were asking me about, the barrel.
Yeah.
Because I might have found one. I may have found one.
So Michael Dunn and Vanessa Kitty were both jumping on when Echo said, hey, you got free dice, so he has to make a gun. I remember the meme. There's a meme going around where it's like, oh, I found a detent for a buffer spring. Now I got to build a new gun. Yeah, that's how it works. I remember back when
if that's the case, I need to build ARs.
I would always end up with some extra piece, and I'd be like, oh, well, I've already got half the gun, so I might as well make another one.
Well,
you end up
if
changing.
You count detent springs that have gone flying in this room that I'm in, where I build
got a
stuff.
lot of projects on the floor over there.
There's a lot of primers on the floor too. I need to get somebody to 3D print me a primer catcher for my single stage, because I cannot find my primer catcher. And
if you hop on Etsy, I guarantee you someone's making them. There's everything 3D printed on Etsy.
I know,
they'll ship
but
it to you at $15.
Yeah.
Seems like everything 3D printed on there is $15.
Yeah, but I was going to ask you something else.
Just like Tijuana.
$15.
But I do think there's going to be some major projectile issues with the 8.6. Like, I don't want to be that guy that says that, but I really do think it's going to have some hindrances.
Well, they've been talking about it for 2 years now. They've been talking about it, and they're saying this summer.
But the 300 Blackout, when it initially came out, they tried going a super aggressive twist rate like that and only producing 4.5, 5-inch barrels. And they ran into the same issues with the 300 Blackout. I don't know if any of you guys remember in 2012 when the 300 Blackout first hit the market. It was running a 1 and 5.5-inch twist.
Yeah.
And projectiles would get at 50 yards and shred
sideways, and it turned sideways if they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tumble at 50 yards. And that was one of the big issues about getting the 300 Blackout adopted into the military program, is because at 50 yards it was blowing apart. It wasn't staying nominal velocities. It wasn't putting enough energy on. And now you have guys like myself, and I'm sure Echo's done it, and I'm sure you've done it, and AR's done it, that have taken 300 Blackout out to 500-600 yards with supersonic ammo.
Mr. Tactical Fud is here. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Tactical.
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Okay, so while we have a couple people here, let's see if we can help Mr. Bending Ballistics pick something out for his gun vault. He's building a gun vault in his house, and let me share my screen here. You want to set the preface here while I'm pulling this up?
Okay, so a little bit of prefaces here. The outside brick of my house is a light color. So one of these, the lighter color, it matches almost identically. Let me grab a piece of the wall here. The walls that I'm going with, I don't know if you guys can see this, but they are physically black.
Oh, wait,
they're made out of aluminum.
Here, let me put you on here. Hang on.
So they're aluminum. They are black. So this is a sample of the wall that I'm going with. And the floors are black already in there. I'm painting behind the walls and the ceiling a dark color also. That way, in case there's any light that shines through here, it's covered there. And I'm needing some help with some people on what's going to make it look right. And I kind of want to do a poll. Big thing with my channel is I try to do everything that's within a budget frame of everybody. And so this is this color here is the actual colors of my brick on the outside of my home.
You got this, like this one right here, this Kingston with the light mortar, kind of a light red brick.
Yeah, that's the exact colors of my bricks on my house. So.
All right, and then option number 2 is.
And my track lights are black also. So there's a lot of dark colors in my room.
So here's a darker mortar.
My vote's the other one. But
kind of cool looking.
Yeah, I'm very conflicted because none of the pictures show anything with black in front of it, even for the lighter stuff.
I think I agree. I think this Kingston, it kind of matches your outside. And,
yeah, I tell you why. When your eye pops on something, it's gonna, if you have it blackened, the background, it's gonna make you pop. If you have a bright background, you are gonna fade right into it. It's been my experience with a little bit of photography that I took in high school, that if it was me, I would do the darker grout joint. That way, when you have yourself on there, it would pop more. However, if you were displaying firearms, the other one would be the better choice because the black would kind of disappear. Kind of like.
AR's pointing.
Let me ask this. Can I ask this question?
Yeah, I got you.
You going to be doing video in there, right?
Yes and no. Because I don't generally film inside my house. And a lot of it's because, like, I do have kids, obviously, and telling a 3-year-old to quit being loud is not quite the easiest thing in the world. And then I have a teenager. So it's a little bit difficult to film inside my house. I'm surprised they're being as quiet as they are right now. I know the teenager, she's worn out from the match this weekend. So
what sport does she participate in?
She shoots PRS and National 3-gun with me.
Oh, wow.
Great.
I think to hear. Better. And that's your daughter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's been shooting.
About how age group? Is she high school? Is she elementary?
So she's still in the juniors division, but next year she'll jump up to the women's division because she'll be aged out.
Okay, now how do the age groups work there? Where she's in the juniors now, what age group to what age group do they let girls participate?
16. At 16, they leave juniors. But so here's kind of the weird thing with it. It's all based on your birthday. So with her turning 16 in September, she will stay junior until the end of the 2022 season, which does not technically end until February of 2023. When we start back in March of 2023, she will be considered adult. She will no longer be a junior because she's over the age of 16 when the season physically starts, which is good and bad. And I can tell you why, because juniors are given just as much scrutiny as we are on our scores.
Right.
But a junior has more, I don't know how to put it, without sounding very arrogant. Or not arrogant, but very
condescending.
Yeah. Juniors are given more chances at sponsorships than somebody, let's say, AR's age, Eagle Run's age, my age, or your age. Now,
well, and let me tell you why. It's much easier to market a new person because number one, it's cheaper to get them to come to work for you. And usually it's just a sponsorship. And number two, you've got an entire career of that person growing underneath you with your company and becoming what they can be. And if you pick your talent wisely, and most of these professional teams have a guy like yourself that has got that experience and can kind of keep an eye out for the talent and the skills, and once they develop, then you have a money making person for your company.
You got an echo there, Bending Ballistics.
Yeah, it's because you keep muting my mic and I keep turning it on.
Well, I muted it because it was echoing.
Oh, my bad.
All right, you're good. You still got an echo there.
Well,
is it in the thing?
Yeah.
Can we address the brick? Let's address the brick where we were at.
Yeah. Okay. So AR has something he wants to say about the bricks.
Okay. You got black ceiling. You got black floor. Boy, I hate that echo. You got the black panels. If you go with a lighter brick, you're going to be able to visually, it's going to look better, in my opinion, humble opinion, than if you did do too dark a brick and two dark joints. Right. It depends on how you want to stand out. If the brick is going to be showing, if the brick's going to be showing quite a bit, I would go with a lighter brick and the gray. But that's just me.
Well, so the brick is going to be on the bottom and on the top. So it's going to be the footboard and the headboard of it in essence. And so every single rack that I've ordered for this, they're black, obviously. The walls are black. Everything is black on it. And I'm to the point where I just got all my plumbing and everything taken care of for dehumidifier. Now, the dehumidifier that showed up this week, we're not even going to get into that, but I'm not going to bash a company, but I'm going to tell you I'm very upset with the quality of this and that it's already quit working after a 2-day weekend. I'm not going to bash a company. I'm not like that. I don't bash firearms companies. I'm not going to use a.
So here's your female perspective. I feel like if you have too much black in there, you're going to send me a ton of light.
Well, so I'm putting up LED track lights. And then I'm going to do soft lights. So I'm going to have reds and blues and like soft greens in there for lighting, which will be a lot like what's behind you, Eagle. And it's going to add a soft effect light and a shadow effect light. My biggest thing about this is I am a responsible firearms owner, and I've outgrown 3 safes, 2 that are very large, like very, very large. So I've got firearms that are sitting on the floor in rooms in the house with locks on the doors that, like, I don't know how to explain it.
I can explain it. I've been there, done that.
And Echo, you're in Florida, and we both grew up in Florida, and we both have lived in Florida, and I've lived in Wisconsin and everything else. Do you got a recommendation on a good dehumidifier? And not a GE?
Yeah. Basically, you're going to have to buy a commercial dehumidifying unit that has its own drain line dedicated. And There are some manufacturers that you probably want to look at. Some of the ones, Train makes one. There's a couple of, they're not cheap though. They're close to $1,000, but the bottom line is they will keep you set the thermostat to the humidity level you want, and it'll be that setting within 24 hours. And usually within about 6 hours, it drops it that quick.
I got a company for you to check ballistics. Check ACWholesalers.com down there in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They will ship it right to your house, commercial grade, and they're great prices. Typically.
With so go back to sideways. I think your echoes because it's hitting the bottom of your phone.
Is that better?
Is that better? Oh, I still got an echo.
I forgot to mention that to you the other day. That company.
It's probably because I do everything off my cell phone and don't have a laptop or anything. So like my speaker and my everything is.
It doesn't echo when you're talking. It's just echo when everyone else talks.
Oh.
Vanessa wants to vacay in Florida.
Well,
Echo, I'll be in Florida this summer. We're definitely doing
I'm just echoing because Echo's here.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I'll give a little bit of other history on my house of things that I've done to make it more efficient at cooling. So I'm sure anybody that's got a basement knows what a conductive cooling system is. Anybody know what a conductive cooling system is? Do you know what a conductive cooling system is?
No.
Okay. I have no. We don't have basements in Florida.
No basements in Texas either.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah,
okay. Anyways,
there's no basements here. Everybody just does slabs.
Oh. Okay. Well, anyways, so I've got a conductive cooling system in my house, and it hooks up to my ductwork. I've got a basement here, and it draws the cold air. So this brush here is the conductive cooling unit. This pipe is this scraper is my, and it literally goes in the middle of my stuff, and it pulls the air from this side of my ductwork, forces it this way, and circulates it through the house and creates a constant vacuum. Not constant vacuum, but a constant breeze of it circulating the air. And it dropped my electric bill nearly $90 to $100 the first month that did it. I keep my house at 69 degrees in the summer, and I can tell you how much it does not cost me to cool my house at 69 degrees. And it's a shockingly low number.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, my Texas electricity bill is not shockingly low.
So the highest electric bill I've ever paid in my house since I installed that conductive cooling unit was $135.
Yeah, that's the winter for me.
I have a heat pump ballistics. I'm about the same way. I got a 14 SEER 2.5 ton heat pump.
Well, and so
it don't cost much.
That conductive cooling unit works the same with heat here, because it'll pull that constant temperature of my basement, which stays a phenomenal 67 degrees year round because it's underground, and it pulls that constant air up and out. So heating is super, super efficient, and cooling is too.
It looks like Michael Dunn's got something here too.
Yeah. So that's how mine initially started, was an inlet and outlet, and then I converted to the conductive cooling unit. Now, conductive cooling units are very expensive. Not even gonna lie.
I think John dropped a link here to the one that AR was talking about.
Okay, I'll check it out.
All right.
Yeah, I ordered an entire heat pump system from them years ago. Actually, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if anybody has a basement in their house or a room in their house that stays extremely cold compared to everywhere else in your house, 10 out of 10, highly recommend a conductive cooling system.
5 stars, 2 thumbs up.
10 stars.
All right, well, it's coming up on 10 o'clock here, guys. I've got quite a bit of work to do here tonight to get ready for the week. So we'll probably sign off here. I'm going to mute you real quick. Let me get my sign off here. There we go. All right, so let's go around here real quick. AR, tell us how to find you. And AR, if you don't know, AR does a lot of live streams, and him and Echo do some of them together. And almost every live stream I tune on, they've got AR on there, which is awesome. So super happy to have him on. Thank you for joining us tonight. How can they find you?
Thursday night, 9 o'clock from now on, at least at this point. So we'll do reloading live streams, less chit chat shows. We'll do shows similar to this, as long as it's on topic.
Yeah,
is good. And I appreciate you inviting me. It was nice to be on you. I'm honored that you invited me.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see if you you mentioned something on one I was watching the other day where you were talking about not about us in the community not streaming over each other, and I thought that was important. I think it's very respectful to try to do that, and I think that we should probably attempt to do that. I don't exactly know one where I fit in that category because I'm not necessarily in the same circles as everyone else, but since it's a reloading channel, I probably fall into that category. I, as a novice and as an impulsive person, and as someone who Bending Ballistics will text me and be like, hey, let's live stream tonight. And so that's about as much pre-thought as we put into it. How do we as a community be respectful of each other in that category? Does someone have a list? Is there a schedule?
No, we just kind of know the community a little bit because it's kind of a small community.
Yeah,
it's going to eventually happen where we have no control, and it's already starting to get that way. And
yeah,
it'll eventually be where we can't control it. But we try, some of the guys that we know that hang in large crowds on other channels, we try to keep it like we're not going to go to their channel and try to blow them out of the water just by common courtesy,
Yeah.
So, but it does
my
happen.
intention is, I think it's a great idea, and my intention would be to try to respect that. I don't know that it. I guess I would say if I'm streaming over the top of someone, sorry, I didn't know. But I wonder if if there was a list, I think that would be great.
I kind of got it in my head.
Okay, so AR is the keeper of the reloading stream list. So hit up Mr. AR and get on the schedule. So I messaged him today and said, hey, you want to come on tonight? And I guess that was my approval that it was in the clear at 8:30.
Yeah, it's good time. I think so. Yeah.
I'm a late night guy. I tuck my kids in at 8 o'clock and I can try to jump on at 8:30. A lot of guys are trying to stream at 5 and 6 p.m. And I know there's different time zones and it's just kind of crazy. But anyway, thank you again for joining. It makes me always just want to up my game whenever I'm watching AR do stuff. He's a professional. So, Mr. Echo, how can we find you? What are you doing on YouTube? And you got any socials you're plugging here?
Basically, thank you very much for having me on tonight. I appreciate the invite. I am doing a show every Friday night at 6:05 p.m. Eastern. And we cover reloading, firearms, and firearms chats, and just discussion on even some 2A stuff. So, I do a lot of promoting of other channels. So make sure you check out all the interviews that I have. And if you have a channel that you would like to have promoted, please let us know. Me and AR both do that, and we would love to have you. And so does Chris. And so basically,
Chris from the 740.
Yeah, Chris from the 740, and basically, you and Bending Ballistics now are doing some interviews of people. Aren't you going to be planning on doing that?
Yeah, there'll be some more. I can't prioritize YouTube. I would love to, but I just can't.
You have a life, we know.
I'm in between so many things, but
yeah.
AR and Echo, genuinely good guys, and they reached out to me when I posted because I created a new channel, Eagle Reloads, and they Echo reached out to me right away. He was helping me with some 9mm stuff, and then he had me as a guest on the channel. And my little reloading channel has been going for like 8 months now, and I think I maybe just crossed 500 subs. So it's doing pretty well. I don't really have any goals for that channel. It's just a spot to put stuff where I wasn't on my main channel. So all right, so let's go to, I'm going to unmute you here, and I'll hopefully won't. I think we got the echo. Are you there?
Yeah.
There we go.
I muted myself.
So, Mr. Bending Ballistics. Oh, I'm sorry. Bending Ballistics. Will you tell us how to find you and what you're doing on YouTube? And yeah.
So I'm just like you. I do have a life outside of here. I do work industrial engineering. So, like, yes, YouTube is great, but industrial engineering and master armoring, like, that's really where everything I do resides around. Like, YouTube is great. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like you. It doesn't take my priority of everything between matches and everything else. So, like, there is my Instagram. That's always there. And Echo, whenever we get off, if we can hang out backstage, I'll give you my phone number. Because I know you have it, Eagle, and AR has it.
Yeah, we can hang out a second here. Anyone in the side chat here, if you want to post your Instagram or whatever. Looks like Vanessa Kitty has an Instagram. I don't think I follow you on Instagram, Vanessa Kitty.
She doesn't follow me either.
I have Twitter, but I don't do Facebook or Instagram.
Vanessa was my 135th subscriber on my channel. So I started my channel when CRS was having all his issues with his 300 PRC.
Yeah.
And that's when I started my channel. But my Instagram is bending_ballistics. I mean, same as my YouTube handle. I'm kind of the worst at social media because, like,
social media.
Yeah, just social media. Drama. Everybody's worried about Johnny Depp and
well, I will say this, she has destroyed him. So
yeah, but nobody else is watching the Maxwell case.
That's true.
And that's as political as I'm going to get on that, and I'm going to shut that off there.
All right, well, thanks everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys chiming in, and we will see you guys next time.
Good seeing you guys. Have a good one.
See you, everybody.
All right, I'm going to end the broadcast.